The most precious jewel here, your number one source for indie to happiness. And today, I am sitting down with my brother Jamaal, and we gonna chop it up. Look, because first of all, something somewhere was trying to get us to not do this interview today. Okay, so we about to body it. And we gonna get it done, and it's gonna be super informational. It's gonna be super helpful. So make sure that y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you can be the first to know when we post a new video.
I'm gonna feed off your energy because
For
it's your
sure.
platform.
Let's get it
So,
then. Okay, can you introduce yourself first, please?
so my name is Jamaal. I go by Brother Jamaal, and I have a number of products and services rated for my Black Culture, Black Issue board game. The second one coming out soon. Novel, upcoming animated series, community events, and more. All to re-educate, entertain, and improve the overall quality of life of the masses of Black and African people on a global aspect.
I love that. That's so dope. And how old are you?
Just turned 26.
It's fire. Me too. I ain't do all that. But, but that's super dope. When we first met,
Yeah.
we met at what, Grapevine?
It was. We met at Grapevine 2021. I think I was like I was about 3 or 4 months out the military. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Seems like it was so long ago now because, I mean, it's January 2024, but yeah, it was 3 years ago now. Time really be flying.
It really do. That's crazy. I didn't know that you were like fresh out of the military then.
Oh, yeah, I got out January of 2021. Yeah.
Okay. How long were you in?
I joined when I was 18 in 2016, and I got out when I was, I think, a fresh 23 in 2021, so about 4.5 years.
Okay. Okay. Well, no, thank you for your service.
Thank you for the service you're providing to people.
It's freedom.
Silly, man. Always doing little stuff. Crazy.
Okay. So, I absolutely love what you are doing for the community, for the Black community, just all around. It's so dope. And for you to be so young and to be doing that, it's like really inspirational. It's inspirational, and it also like opens our eyes to like, we can't leave this up to uncle now. It's our job now. You know what I mean? Like, it's our job to really push this and to really fight for the culture. Do you still work with children?
Yes. Right now, my older cousin, his name is D. Ross of the Ross Foundation. He does a number of different services for the community. I work at his community center. It's on Post Road, 42nd and Post Road. The heart of food deserts and medical deserts, and not a proper proportionate allocation of funds, inspiration, all that good stuff. But I incorporate my knowledge, my products and services for my business and my overall mission into the Ross Center as the reading program director. We do different games with the kids, different events. We did the toy giveaway, clothing giveaway. We have a partnership coming up with Gleaners Food Bank to help, distribute food to people who don't have access to it, or, Black folk who are prideful.
Yeah.
So some of the individuals who may need that assistance with food, they may not have to show their face. We can get connected. They can order online on Gleaners. They can get to them. I go to different schools, tell them about, my story, my products and services. I was just at Purdue Polytech. I'm about to partner with the Urban League to go to different schools. I do a lot with the youth.
I love that.
Well, the revolution and the betterment and progression of our people is in the hands of the youth. Because if you don't, instill them not just with information, but also inspiration, they're going to grow up and be filled with destitute, or not understand why it's imperative to have that sense of racial pride, dignity, and know our significant contributions as a people. So we don't just look at history as, this happened at this time, this happened back in the day, has nothing to do with today. But the present is predicated upon the past. So if you don't know what happened in the past, you won't understand what's going on in the present. If you don't know where you come from, where your people come from, you won't truly know who you are and truly know our, unique talents and abilities as a people. And that's why a lot, not just the youth, but even people our age and older, they do all of these things that contribute to social chaos and destruction, or that are destructive or regressive rather than progressive, because, they just don't have that inspiration or motivation to aspire to do something good instead of something, Crazy.
You answered my question already.
Oh, my fault. I'll be going and going.
No, it was good. And that's why, like I said, you're so full of knowledge and it's like it just spills out of you.
Yeah.
And we absolutely admire that about you. So it's super dope. We do. I'm like, ask Brother Jamaal, he know. Look.
I appreciate what you do because it's
Thank
hard to
you.
get the information out sometimes. So thank you for letting me do it.
Yeah, just wanted to give you the platform to let it out, spill out. Okay, so how do you balance the urgency of needing to change things immediately, but also trying to like make it long term so that it lasts within liberating Black folks?
That's a good question. I don't know the exact quote. I'm kind of paraphrasing because I know a lot of quotes from Malcolm X, and it's hard to remember all the information you read from books. But he said something within the lines of, "You have to be careful introducing a Black man or woman with the truth because they've been so indoctrinated over time that you have to give them a little piece at a time. Then they gradually, come to the thorough understanding and knowledge of themselves, and start turning things around, and we start, implementing ethno-aggregation, unity, cohesiveness, because it's been so many different racial caste systems throughout the years that have made us have these individualistic mindsets instead of that thorough sense of community. So what helps me balance it all is providing products and services that aren't just giving information but also inspiration, but also it's fun and entertaining and engaging. Like, I'll say from all my products, I'm most known for my Knowledge Self board game, the Black Culture and Black History board game. You can laugh and learn simultaneously. I have the second one coming out soon. And what I did with that was I'm giving you the information through education, but I'm also putting the culture, like the Black rappers, singers, sayings and doing all this other stuff so they can be a balance. Because if our people today, we're in a whole new state as Black people today. You can't just, like, if Malcolm X and Martin Luther King came back from the grave today, we in a new age of Black folks. They ain't about to get out there and march and do all this, that, woo. So you have to add the modern, contemporary elements to it. So then they're like, okay, I'm learning this, I'm learning that. It's not too much at the same time, but then I can also have fun with it, and it can also, I have to be able to, well, one thing I've been great at is finding where it's applicable to them and relates to them today. So that's kind of how I balance it. Reading Afrocentric and Black focused books are great, but also, that information can be, and material can be rather heavy at times. So you got to do things that are fun and, relieving. And you see the economic climate we in today. Basic life essentials, the prices of them are skyrocketing, but wages aren't rising, so that's stressful as well. So I'll be watching cartoons. I was watching Jimmy Neutron, Boondocks, Justice League to kind of, balance all of that. So
okay,
yeah.
that
Sorry.
kind of leads. No, you good.
No, I ramble.
No, ramble on. We got time and space for you. But that kind of leads into my next question. So with being an activist, a revolutionary, and just fighting for the cause, how do you balance that with self-care? And like, what advice would you give to someone else that's in the fight as well?
That's a great question. You asked some good questions, by the way.
Thank you.
Jesus, you really put some thought into this.
I did.
Well, how I balance it, again, I can read the heavy material, and it's hard to, take in sometimes because it's not always, grimy and brutal, but sometimes, it can lead you into pessimism instead of optimism because, like, man, it's been going on for so long. Can we really do this? Are we going to be able to do this as a people? But then I could think of things like ancient African civilizations, empires, kingdoms, and queendoms, because women was out here running things too, wasn't just the men. I think of more recently, the Black Reconstruction era, after the Emancipation Proclamation, newly freed and enslaved Black Indo-African individuals or people of the African genotype. We had all these skills, abilities, and talents from once being enslaved. So that's why in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, the Black Reconstruction era, we had Black banks, Black-owned medical facilities and clinics, Black schools, Black transportation companies, all the above. Like here in Indianapolis, we had we had Mass Avenue in 1920s, also referred to as the Roaring Twenties, because we had that sense of self-preservation, self-reliance, self-sufficiency. But then integration happened and we lost that, and different racial case systems as well. So it's like, dang, can we really do it? But if we did it again, like the old saying says, history repeats itself. So we'll be able to do it again. Reading books from pivotal, notable Black figures like Malcolm X, Sojourner Truth, Toni Morrison, Dick Gregory, and others who went through a lot of the same things we're still going through today. Like a lot of things I went through in the military, in my childhood, even me being 2016, I'm going through in young adulthood. Malcolm X went through, Toni Morrison, Dick Gregory, Dr. John Henry Clark, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Robert F. Williams, all these pivotal notable Black figures. They can persevere and triumph through it. Then I can do it. Then you can do it. Just add modern, contemporary elements to it in an updated fashion, used with the tactics, methods, and approaches they used, and you can do it today, and you can get it done. So that's what keeps me motivated and pushing. Even with my car being down again, us having to push it to the side.
We pushed it.
Hey, a lot of Black folk had car problems, but they still made it happen. So if they can make it happen, the car being down, I can do it too.
Yeah. What reforms do you advocate for within the educational system to reshape the narrative, the social narrative of race?
Well, I honestly think, it's not what I wouldn't say it's what I think, it's rather what I know. Because I don't think there's any hope left I don't see the point in trying to force a Black child to gain, racial pride, dignity, and be thoroughly educated about who he or she is, their racial, prosperity and all this other stuff from institutions, organizations that were established and meant for our destruction. Like, you wouldn't expect a Jew, he's based off historic context, you wouldn't expect a Jewish individual to go to an organization or institution ran by Nazis and expect him to properly educate them or have their best intent when it comes to education or anything in general.
That's a good point.
Today with the Palestinians and Israel, Israel, they're on the side of Zionism, they're committing acts of genocide and trying to massacre the Palestinians. Would you expect the Palestinians to go to the Israelis and ask them to help them? Ukraine and Russia, I can go all day. So why are Black people going, not just sending Black kids to, school for them, but why are grown adults crying, begging, and pleading? White owned, operated, and controlled educational institutions, facilities, and organizations to properly educate the Black child when there is a thorough historic evidence of them not doing so. Why are we crying for them to educate? You can educate your own child.
Right.
And somebody say, oh, I don't got time to teach my daughter this, teach my son this. You get your nails done every week. You got time for that. You got time to get a fresh cut every week. You got time to, post on Instagram and do all this. But you ain't got time to take 30 minutes, an hour out of your week to teach your kids about Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, the Black Reconstruction era, why highways were meant to go against Black people, medical malpractice, and experimentations on Black people, the importance to circulate the Black dollar, but you got time for that other stuff. So that's why I don't think there's any hope in crying and begging, these schools to do right by us when they have a history of not doing right by us. We can build our own schools. Can't financially afford to build your own school? Make an online course, push the online course, host a community event so we can have some engagement. In the rapidly growing technological era, you can push it out through social media or something. So that's my, stance on education.
Leading right on into my next question about about technology. So I could imagine that this fight probably would have been, it's still hard, but probably would have been way harder without technology. I feel like now we can spread our message a little bit better, a little bit broader, faster. How do you feel technology and social media has impacted the fight for cultural justice?
I think it's done it a grave justice to an extent, because the information is now being pushed to the masses. It was withheld for decades. We have access to it now, but that's why I said they did a grave justice to an extent, because now a lot of people, they'll Google things, but they won't thoroughly research and study things. They'll Google something, they get the first 2 or 3 links, but how do you know that's credible? How do you know if that's valid information? You have to do your due diligence, do your own research to thoroughly understand and apply it to the present, so you know what's exactly going on, and you know how to alleviate yourself from it, pass that on to your people. Then we can truly be liberated politically, socially, economically, spiritually, physically, all the above. But social media is great though, because it helps me push out my products and services. But then again, social media, it only negatively affects individuals who don't already have a great set foundation, values, morals and ethics and principles. But social media has made some people, instant gratification. They think they can just wake up tomorrow and things, be together. Everything is jumping in 2 days. But civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, the Black Reconstruction era, slave insurrections and rebellions back in the day, there were coordinated plans of action. It took a while. You can read books about pivotal notable Black figures, our ancestors. It took them a while. It's not gonna happen overnight. But overall, I think social media is a good tool and instrument to pushing the word out about how imperative it is for us to come up with some collective calls to action and implement ethnic aggregation and unify if we really want to, be liberated on an international global aspect as Black and African people.
Okay. Do you ever get discouraged on this journey?
Definitely. Because a lot of people on social media, I like to call it fake positivity. It's like some people try to say, oh, there's no such thing as a bad day. You just gotta wake up every day and put a smile on your face. First of all, we Black. We already got different social injustices, economic, political, emotional, epigenics, eugenics, all the above. We gotta deal with that. Then we're dealing with inflation. Basic life essentials, the prices of basic life essentials are rising, wages aren't rising. Everything is expensive. That's 2. Then we have to deal with the issue of we don't even know if America gonna be around, let alone the world gonna be around the next 10, 15 years. But I definitely get discouraged a lot. You can read about Malcolm X saw a therapist 2 or 3 times a week during the height of his political and social activist efforts. Martin Luther King, if you listen to the speeches in the last 2 years of his life, he contemplated multiple times. He predicted he was going to be assassinated. He was had a bad case of paranoia. A lot of these pivotal Black figures, had bouts of severe depression and anxiety, and felt distressed at times because you're going against the government nowadays. You got all these. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I just hope they do better with their community efforts and activist efforts. Their activism is too nice. That's not what activism is. Why are you out here shaking hands with the mayor and governor saying, oh, we're doing this to combat this and that? The mayor and governor is not about to do nothing for your Black ass. Why are you shaking hands? Them is the ones you need to be opposing, not cause physical violence. Those are the ones you're supposed to be opposing. They giving out laws and policies to help everybody else, but they're not helping Black folk. They put Black folk on the back end, on the back burner, help all these other groups out. Then they'll think about throwing Black people a bone. You got Black folks out here. If this form of activism, I'm not against it, but what happens after this? If you go outside, you make a sign, and you crying, begging, pleading while walking down the street, hey, that's your choice. But what are you doing after that? Any revolution, if you look at the history of the initial conception of America, it was the Revolutionary War. You had the British colonial powers, also referred to as Great Britain, and then you had the 13 colonies. because you got that's the 4th of July, Declaration of
Mm-hmm.
Independence, stuff like that. It was built upon a revolution. That's why it's called the Revolutionary War. They first started off with petition. The colonies petitioned Great Britain. That didn't work. Then they went to public demonstration. That didn't work. Then they went to up armed rebellion. I'm not saying we need to go to up armed rebellion. I'm just saying when they went to up armed rebellion, it was a collective call to action. We were all on the same page. We may not have agreed on everything, but we had the mutual consensus. We came to a mutual consensus on what needed to be done and how we were going to do it. And then they got it done. We can't keep using the same outdated and insufficient tactics and methods and approaches and expect a different result when we've seen what the results have been. Oh, we've gone through a lot of change as Black people. We need to be grateful. Let's celebrate Black history. How can we celebrate Black history if we don't even thoroughly understand Black history? We're not applying what happened in the past to the present. If we keep celebrating Black history, we're never going to properly learn from it, and we're not going to implement it in the present so we can really be liberated as a people. And I know I'm rambling, but I
You
don't
can
even,
do your thing.
Black History Month don't even make sense. Why are you trying to regulate our infinite Black history to 1 month? Celebrate Black History Month. The 1 month white folks tell you to celebrate Black History Month. You don't need to celebrate Black history in February. That's supposed to be a daily thing. You do that every single day. That makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's people being too nice with their activism, shaking hands with people that's gonna burn Black folk in a week. They come to these Black events, dance off beat to Black songs at these events. Mayor Hogshead went on a Black church tour just to get back in office, but he ain't did nothing for Black folks. And it's just stuff like that that don't make sense at all. I know I ramble.
Do your thing. Look, I'm just I'm listening. I'm taking it all in. It's really great to hear your perspective and to hear all of the history of everything. You're teaching me right now. So I definitely appreciate that. So it's clear the air. You don't hate white people.
No, I don't hate white people. It's not a matter of Black people versus white people. It's a matter of Black individuals against white privilege, white advantages, white exploitation of Black and or other non-white individuals in a global aspect. It's not Black people versus the white flesh. It's Black people against white capitalism, white dogmatism. It's Black people wanting to fight disenfranchisement, new forms of the racial caste system and subjugation. Because Malcolm X said racism is like a Cadillac that come out with a new model every year. So it's not white versus Black people. That's not the problem. Some people always say, "Oh, you hate white people." No, I don't hate white people. To hate somebody else is to love myself a little less. So I don't hate white people. I just hate white advantages and white capitalism, corporate greed. That's to have a strong, profound hatred for. Because there's plenty of white individuals who support my cause. Even you can go back to Bacon's Rebellion. I believe it was in the 1800s. I can't remember his occupation, but I know he was I believe he was a farmer or he involved himself in some form of agriculture, cultivation, and he's a white man. He got the poor white individuals, enslaved African or Black individuals, and they went against all the slave masters, all the individuals who are subjugating, disenfranchising, or keeping people in physical bondage. And they went and freed people. White man did that. There were white individuals who financially supported the Self-Armed Defense Black Panther Party. There were white individuals who financially and helped in other aspects of the Civil Rights Movement, the Black Reconstruction era. That's great. But Black people still need to understand we need to do it ourselves. Yes, we can have individuals financially invest, but they can't financially invest in the sense of, hey, I'm part of this organization, white organization. We would like to give you $1 million, but we're wondering if you can change this, tweak that, and that. If you're gonna invest, hey, thank you for your $1 million. We gonna keep doing what we do though. You don't have no hand in this. You can't control the destiny and the planning and the path of it. But thank you for your contribution. If you really want to help, you can go. Why is it that white people like to come to Black spaces to protest white stuff? Why don't you go take your white advantages and privileges and go protest, get some other white folks who agree with you and go protest in the white neighborhoods, in the white communities, so we can get together. That's why a lot of Black folk today who I consider them black, I consider them coons. This is why their allegiance is so misguided and not pledged with the people, because they've been indoctrinated and they trying to assimilate rather than, separate. Because I'm not saying, separate from white folks socially. I have white counterparts. I have white associates. I'm not saying you can't go out to eat with a white person. You can't go to a basketball game or work with a white person. Not a social separation, but we need a political, economic separation from white people. Because every group of people have their own needs, wants, concerns, and interests. And I don't like when black people were categorized as people people of color or minority groups. Because let's say if we had a town hall meeting, or we had a meeting with all the groups of color or people of color, black people need this, black people need that. Oh well, here we got other non-white individuals there that are considered people of color or minority groups. Oh well, that doesn't benefit all the people of color, so we can't do that. Like, we need reparations. Asians don't need reparations. Excuse me. Let's say the Japanese, after the bomb dropped on Hiroshima, they get reparations, and black folks are there. Oh, black people, we need reparations. Oh, we get reparations. Let's get something so we can all benefit from it. But black people have not received any contributions or compensation for all we've been inflicted with, all that we've contributed, not just to America but the world. Uh, the Japanese get reparations for the bombs dropped on Hiroshima. Native Americans get their much due reparations for the Trail of Tears and the persecution of Native Americans or indigenous individuals. Native Alaskans get reparations. Native Hawaiians get reparations. The Jews get reparations from the Holocaust and the Nazis. The Jewish Holocaust was 3 to 5 years. No more than 10 million people died. They definitely deserve reparations. The African and Black Holocaust has been going on for over 5 centuries. Some argue past 5 centuries. We never got 40 acres in the mule. We never got an acre of land. We've never gotten anything. And we've gone through, nothing equates to what black individuals have been inflicted with in the history of human existence. Nothing at all. And we don't get reparations. So this is things like that. I know I rambled on.
Don't worry about it. We got time and space. So you were talking a little bit about white people contributing or non-black people contributing, and how that can help. But what is, so for our white counterparts or non-black counterparts who don't have $1 million to give, don't have money to give, what is something like, what is a sense of allyship that they can give? Like, what is something that they can do that you think would be like, yes, this is helping the black community? Like the very basic.
The very basic, first of all, I do appreciate those individuals, no matter what your racial, ethnic, or cultural background may be, being on the side and pledging your allegiance to the side of truth, of prosperity, and to fight and counteract all types of destruction, subjugation, oppression, and evil and sadistic things. But I would say one thing they could do is just keep trying to acquire knowledge to keep themselves properly informed, so they can pass that information along and properly inform all individuals. Because it's hard out here. Hey, people be lying on social media, making it seem like they balling, this and that. It's hard out here. So I don't expect everybody to be able to contribute financially. It's times I go places, I can't contribute financially. I gotta pay rent this week.
Right.
My car just broke down. I never had to get with that. I can't always contribute financially, but I can always lead somebody with a positive message, lead them in the direction to some valuable or information of some good quality, whether it's a book, a documentary, leave them with some optimism, tell them something that can make them feel, not just feel great, but after I do something to make them feel good, they'll take forth their gird, energy, and focus and put forth some action to actually, do better. Because a lot of people like to feel better, but hey, let's do some things so we can actually do better as not just black people, but as human beings as a whole. So I would say, hey, just keep trying to properly inform yourself, keep that, open mindset. Like me, I'm not just, some people that do this black power stuff, I don't want to say they go too far in it, but it clouds their judgment. It's kind of like they're losing their sense of humanity, because they're like, oh, let's just go kill all white people. Let's go kill all non-black individuals and take over the world since you're the first ones to have this earth. It's still human beings now.
Right.
Like, you can't just sit there and say, hey, let's just massacre all non-black individuals. Not all that. But just keep your sense of humanity. and keep hope that we can really be liberated as a, the human race, I should say.
Woo, knocking them out. I absolutely love this. Has been amazing. It's been really amazing just to sit down and talk, like sit down and really talk to you, because I feel like I see you in passing at events, or even like speaking engagements. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be like, "Dang, give them some more time," like let
Yeah.
them talk, let them cook. Let
Let 'em cook.
them cook, because I feel like it's very much needed, and I feel like with you being so young, you just connect with this generation better, because like there's people out here there's people that's teaching Black liberation and all of this other stuff, but having somebody that look like us, dress like us, think like us for the most part,
Yeah.
and just is in the spaces with us. I feel like that's needed, because you can't preach from the outside.
Oh, come on.
You can't preach from the outside. It don't work in church. It don't work in the streets. It don't work anywhere. So I feel like just having you here in this space and part of our generation it's an honor.
Definitely. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
that.
much.
We both vessels and instruments to the liberation of our people. So thank you for what you do as well. She is hilarious, man. Hilarious.
Stop.
I thought I was funny until I met you.
Really?
I'm not funny at all compared to you.
And I really don't even be doing that. I just be chilling. And people be thinking I be playing sometimes. I don't be playing.
Oh, when me and Murdoch gave our lectures at the Indiana Historical Society, I was being dead serious in a lot of things I was saying.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, yeah, and
That
people
was a
was
really
laughing.
great lecture. It was
I appreciate
amazing.
that. And I was being it's crazy because some of the stuff I made the jokes on, nobody laughed. But then some of the stuff I was just being organic and just being myself, people laughed. I'm like, oh, let me just wait till they get done laughing.
Right.
Because I was really serious, but okay.
Because for real. Do you got any questions? Because I know she's very interested, so I want to give her a chance to.
Cool. Thanks, man. I saw that you did your ancestry. Your feelings associated with finding that information. Like, did it move you? How did it move you? And did you have any conflicting feelings about paying to get your history back, basically? What do you and what is your advice on that? Like, just from your personal experience, is that something that you would suggest to people to do?
Dang, that's a good question. First, I will say I used a 14-day trial. I'm not about to sit there and pay no. It says I had to come off like $30 a month. I'm not coming off $30 a month because y'all disrupted my family tree, my family ancestry. Y'all should be paying us for that reparations. But that's another conversation of the day. But Ancestry.com, I was against it for a while because I'm like, why would I sit here and pay for a white controlled program or service to lie to me? They've been lying for us for centuries. Then I said, you know what? Let me just try it out. I have my grandmama. My grandma was adopted when she was younger. She reconnected with her family, I think when she was in her 20s or 30s. So I took the little information she had, asked my great aunt on my mom's side, then my biological father's side of the family. I didn't have a relationship with him until I was probably about 17, 18. He passed away. But I asked his sister on his side, this and that. So the information I was getting from Ancestry.com, I was matching it up with both sides of the family. Documents, pictures, other manuscripts, anything I could get, and match it up. Like, hey, do you know who this person was? Our great uncle this, or great great grandfather this person? Oh, I don't know that person. Oh, were they married to such? Oh yeah, that's what's the name. What was, like, I saw draft cards. Public census were very instrumental to going as far back as I could. I found my forefather's slave master on my biological father's side of the family. That was crazy. I went all the way back to the 700s. And at first I'm like, they could be lying. But I just asked that side of the family, and they connected every little dot. Took it like a week, calling people up. Hey, grandmama over here, or auntie, cousins, this and that. Little information I was getting from everybody, put it together. But it's very important to do that because you need to know where we come from. That's why you got a lot of people running around here with their heads cut off, because they don't think they can amount or achieve anything of a, great extent, or, a positive, uh, do something in a positive route or pathway. So if you know where you come from and how they persevered, or if they didn't persevere for anything, they just, did something good, that means you can. Like, I work at the community, my cousin's community center, Ross, here on Post Road. We see destitution, hopelessness, and all the time. It's because they just don't have the proper information, and we're not in the lack of information. There's no longer a disproportionate distribution of information all the way because of different resources and stuff like that. It's just that a lot of people don't have the capital to do things that they want to do. They don't have the motivation and inspiration because they're seeing negative images of black folk on the news, social media, micro racial insults that they're having to be hit with, dilapidated housing, and they always, I won't say broke, but poor financially. Like most people are giving up nowadays, and they're filled with negative thoughts and anger because it take them more than almost 2 whole checks a month to pay their rent. They gotta figure out how to get their other basic life essentials. So just learning about your history can kind of make you feel a little bit more positive and make it like, hey, it's hard right now.
Make you feel like you belong.
Yeah. Make you feel like you belong and you can fight through this and you can make it. Like, I'm not trying to keep bringing my car up, but I'm tired of it. I'm just gonna have to give me another car, a little hoopty, a little bucket, whatever. I'm not too upset about it. I'm like, all right, cool. I got some friends I can catch a ride from. If I can get that up and running by tomorrow, I can catch some Ubers. It's gonna be all right. It's not the end of the world. So yeah.
Anything else?
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much for sitting down. This has been amazing. Like,
so thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing other individuals to come on your platform, because you have a great platform and a lot of people tune into it. So it's great that you give people an opportunity to shed light to what they do.
Absolutely, that's our whole purpose here. So I feel like everything that I've done, whether it be soap, art, this, it all just comes back to connecting people.
Yeah.
Like just bringing people together, introducing people to people. So I am the plug.
Let them know.
I am the plug. I got what you need.
Get at it.
So yeah, but it's an honor to be that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know anybody that can yeah, hold on. And if I don't, I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been a really great journey. It's been liberating.
I like the word choice. Yeah. Caught it.
So yeah, that is all I have for you today. Anything you have coming up that you want people to know about?
I have my new board game coming up. It's gonna be Knowledge of Self, Blacktastic Edition. There's gonna be some changes. I have the pivotal black figures on the board still, but I also added some entertainers as well, because a lot of people will they love the board game. I was on the news. I got featured in the Root magazine. It's a nationally recognized black-owned publication. I added some entertainers like Beyonce, Rod Wave, Marvin Gaye, Gucci Mane, Lil Wayne, stuff like that. Because some people were discouraged at first. Like, oh, I don't know any of the ancestral little black figures. So I combined them to put their faces on the board, because they're already in the culture deck of the cards. But a lot of people didn't know that. They just shut off completely. I got that. I'm going to be doing some things with the Urban League coming up soon. Upcoming animated series. It's the visual adaptation of my novel. So the Fistful of Light book that has romance, re-education, comedy, and liberation, all on Blacktastic book. The visual adaptation of that, the Fistful of Light animated series. And that's it so far.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. Okay, so thank you so much for sitting down with us. We are gonna get some of your favorite book recommendations, and how many books do you own? Because I've been following along.
Yeah, you really have. You really have. Last time I counted in my personal collection, I have 105 different Afrocentric and Black focused books, other works and materials. But yeah, they just accumulated them over time, because I started reading books when I was like 19, 20 on my own inclination or proclivity, and that's how I got the inspiration and information to make my products and services.
What better place than to conduct this interview than in the Center for Black Literature and Culture?
Yeah. They got Mass Avenue up there. I didn't even.
They got everything up there. So we're going to take Brother Jamaal to show us some of his favorite books and the recommendations that he have. So y'all can check them out as well. Let's go.
So I would normally recommend the autobiography of Malcolm X, but this is also a great book as well. Because even though I've never sat and read his speeches, I've listened to almost all of his speeches and lectures. The autobiography of Malcolm X is obviously the best material because it's given his life, legacy, ideals, his life story, inspiration, and information. But the autobiography of Malcolm X, as well as any documented account of his speeches, his ideas, and solutions to liberate the people. This is actually the first book I read, My Own Inclination or Proclivity, when I was 19 years old in the military. This book one of the books made me get out the military. It's called The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by the mighty black woman herself, Michelle Alexander. This book talks about all the different racial case systems and structures and institutions used to keep black people in a subordinate state, politically, socially, economically. It primarily focuses on the criminal justice system and the penal system, negatively and disproportionately criminalizes, demonizes black individuals compared to not black individuals. Good book. This book is like I remember Malcolm X read this book while he was in prison. Toni Morrison. It was a lot of pivotal black figures in the mid to late 1900s. This is kind of like their blueprint, the inspiration for them to do their community work or social or activism work. But this book is called The Miseducation of the Negro, in my opinion, because we've been led astray, ran amok, misguided, dismissed, and overall dissatisfied with the information we've been given. And it's kind of talking about why black people kind of think the way they do today. It's not by coincidence or by chance. It's happened based off of what's happened to us in history, and then this result to what's happened to us in history, and it's giving solutions on how we can counteract that. Think more vertical integration rather than horizontal integration, actual progression, and not assimilating. One thing that was interesting, he talked about tribalism. A lot of black folks say, "Oh, I'm an alpha, I'm AKA, I'm a Democrat, Republican." You black, you start thinking black. So yeah, it's a good book.